And appreciate you guys for tuning in and rocking with your boy. As always, man, hit that like button, subscribe to the page. We do talk Chicago Bears daily. Gonna start this up. Didn't know when the Bears were gonna go live, right? It's always a crapshoot with them, but wanted to get in here and talk about a couple of things, right? The press conference with Ryan Pace. We'll be looking at, or I'm sorry, Ryan Poles. We'll be looking at that and where the Bears kind of are with that currently, and also Coach Flus's comments and stuff like that. So appreciate you guys tuning in and rocking with us, man. Hit that like button, subscribe to the page. We're pretty much gonna jump straight into it, man. So let's tune into the press conference already in progress.
All right, so wanted to come in here and, let everyone know, obviously, we're aware of everything that's popped up with Roquan and Twitter. So I thought it would be best just to address it straightforward. I'll double down on what I've said before. My feelings for Roquan haven't changed at all. I think he's a very good football player. I love the kid, love what he's done on the field, which makes me really disappointed where we're at right now. I thought we'd be in a better situation, to be completely honest with you. In terms of our philosophy in the front office, I've always believed and always will be that we take care of our homegrown talent. We pay them, we take care of them, and we take care of them for what they've done and what they can become in the future. And with this situation, we've showed respect from a very early time frame. And with that said, I mean, there's record-setting pieces of this contract that I knew for a fact I thought was going to show him the respect that he deserves, and obviously that hasn't been the case. With that said, we can't lose sight that this isn't about one player. My job is to build a roster that's going to sustain success for a long period of time. And at the end of the day, we got to do, what's best for the Chicago Bears. So I'll take a few questions from you. I just wanted to make sure I got up. I addressed this with you. We know what's going on, and we're doing everything we can to get this done.
Ryan, is your intention to trade him as his request asked for, or do you think something can be worked out?
Right now, my intentions are to sign Roquan to this team, and we're going to take it day by day, and at the end of the day, we got to do what's best for this organization. But my intentions are to make sure Roquan Smith's on this team.
Were you aware that it was this dire, I guess, in his mind?
It's a little bit, there's always going to be a little bit of separation, but at the same time, for an extension, it's got to make sense for both sides. And obviously we're not at that point for him to put that out there.
Ryan, what was your reaction to his message that was shared with Ian Rappaport as far as the organization not valuing him?
Yeah, like I said, when we engaged and we brought it. And I thought there was a lot of respect in where we're at right now. That obviously that's not good enough for him and his party, but I feel like we showed respect with what we've done and showed value for who he is as a football player and what he can become.
Have the negotiations been him directly to you because he doesn't have an agent? How does that work?
Yeah, it's difficult. It's difficult. There's emotions involved, and it's tough. It's a very unique situation that we've had to deal with, and I thought we've done a pretty good job, which, again, that's why I'm a little disappointed that we're at this spot. But, again, that's where we're at. I want to let you know, and if anything changes, I'll update you.
Ryan, but he was out there today. Is he going on you just being out there? What's that?
So that was Ryan Poles, GM of the Chicago Bears, essentially saying that he didn't think we were getting here. He feels like he put some things in that contract that were respectful to Roquan Smith and did honor him. Roquan Smith does not feel that way as he came out today talking about why he has requested a trade and why he feels the Bears aren't doing enough. We got Coach Flus coming up to the podium now.
Today was youth football. You had a couple of groups out there. That was pretty cool, coming out to the first time in, Soldier Field and having those folks out there playing. That was pretty neat, and so we're excited about that. I got one injury update. N'Keal Harry, as you guys know, injured his ankle and no timetable to return, but we have to state that based on our rules that we have for training camp that we have built. He's no timetable to return, but it is an ankle. So today was really good for us to be out here in this atmosphere. Love the fans coming out today. That was outstanding. We did a lot of good situations. We have the NFL officials in for a few days. So that allows us to sit back as coaches and coach and do the game the way we're going to do the game. So that was exciting. Those guys are going to be in our facility for 3 days, like I said. So we're going to use those guys as educators. They're going to educate coaches. They're going to educate the players because we want to have an aggressive football team that plays it the right way. Okay. As I said before, we had some teams in the past that we've been a part of that are the least penalized team or top 5 least penalized groups in the NFL. So we want to have an aggressive style that plays it the right way, and we want to keep doing that. Today we did a really good job of transitioning. I thought it was a good time to come to Soldier Field. We have enough practices under our belt. The guys are starting to understand the tempo, the speed, the execution, the logistics of practice, and it was pretty easy today. To come out there and the function really well, coming down on the bus, and it was really easy and really good. So we'll open up to questions from there.
Matt, what was your reaction to Roquan's statement this morning?
Things in this business happen, right? And there's few things that surprise you, and you take it for what it is and you move forward. And that's what you do. So I really didn't have any reaction. I was disappointed in that, but that's where it is right now. We're working forward. Ryan's going to be working forward with Roquan, and we'll see where it goes.
And it involves you too, doesn't it, though? I mean, Ryan's looking at the contract. Ryan's looking at future numbers, but you're looking at a player that it sounds like, based on your comments this offseason, is essential to what you're doing.
Yeah, we're a football team, so everything everybody does affects everybody, right? So we have to know that as a group. So we will look positively at it in terms of getting guys work that need the work, and a positive note that it will get done, and we'll see where it goes.
When's the last time that you have spoken with Roquan?
Daily.
So you talked to him this morning?
Not quite today, but yeah.
Maybe, yes, sir.
Yeah, pretty much every day. I'm not going to say every single day, but man, we talk and touch
So
base,
daily, but not today.
a lot.
That's just out of curiosity of the tone of those conversations, like what you guys' interactions are like when you want him out there and he's not out there.
Yeah, I would say that I leave that to the business side of it. We talk, strictly football, and we go about our business that way. Him helping the younger players and all that. So I wouldn't. I have no comment for that business side of it.
Is there something you feel like, just in terms of the responsibility being a head coach, to massage that relationship to make sure that it isn't frayed between the player and the front office?
Yeah, I mean, you want to always have good relationships.
Drop a pay to man in the chat if you feel like Roquan's be getting paid right now. Drop a pay to man in the chat.
And help to do that at any point. That's in family. That's in any organization I've been a part of. Certainly you want to do that. That's always helpful on either side, that you can be able to step in and help and work through things. And that's part of building a relationship. I see nothing wrong with that going forward.
Man, since you aren't talking to Roquan daily, I know you mentioned you were disappointed, but were you also a little surprised at kind of the tone of his frustration and how things are going?
No, I was not surprised. I mean, it's like I said, things happen, and hope to move forward from here, and that will be up to both parties. And I respect and think both parties will do it, and we'll see where it goes.
When you signed up for the job, you knew that there would be some guys leaving, like you guys traded Khalil Mack, for example. You knew that some of those things would be possible. What did you envision for Roquan, though, as a young player who seems to have a lot of what you need?
Shout out Samurai J with the super chat. Pay the man on with your brother.
So he was, going to sign a new contract that has started now, and that's where it is. The vision I had for a lot of the players is what I stated before. We've already stated that, how much we like Roquan, where he thinks he's going to fit in at the will position, and we've said that. So I'm standing behind those same words.
We didn't see Cole Clement out there for the second half of practice. Was that injury related, or what happened with Cole Clement?
I don't know. I'll have to Dre, and we'll have to assess him going forward. But again, if it's day to day, it will be that, and if it's longer, I'll state what the injury is.
Didn't appear that Tevin Jenkins finished practice today. Was that by design, or did something happen?
Still in the ramp up. He's still in the ramp up. So he was only scheduled to do individual, and then I think working forward from there, we're going to see where he is.
Coach, we also saw another receiver go down today. David Moore appears to maybe catch.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. How is it getting to just be able to continue to implement the offense and run smooth practice with so many guys missing that wide out? And are you looking outside for immediate relief?
I was going to ask you, have you played receiver? Y'all are laughing. He's the only one not laughing. No.
So he's frying though.
You lose guys in your 90-man roster, and it makes it difficult for the other guys. And we're at that situation where we just got to keep working through it. Next man up, and guys in the whole roster is going to get more reps at the position. So that's where we are.
Do you have any update on Dave Moore?
I don't right now. We'll see where he is, and we'll assess where he is, and have those guys look at him, and we'll see where it goes.
You have been, just on precedent, you have been answering this question with N'Keal Harry. Is that you think will be into the season?
I don't know that. I don't know. We feel positive about what it is, where it is, and then it's an ankle, like I said, and we'll see where it goes.
Coach, is there any update on Felix Jones' injury?
Yeah, he's day to day. He's day to day. You saw him out there in the introductions, right? He was out there jogging out. So we feel good. We feel good where he is for sure. Yeah.
Do you feel ready to play a preseason game, or would you ideally have more time to implement everything you're trying to do?
We are playing a preseason game, so we're gonna tee it up and let it fly, and we'll see what happens.
How do you prepare as a coach for the possibility that Roquan Smith's situation could last into the season? As you're trying to make plans for the season, it could reach a point where he is not there for games.
Well, I think we're doing it. He's on PUP, right? And he's in the situation he is in with the contract, and guys have been playing, and guys have been doing things, and they've been getting the reps, so that is, to me, that is preparation, really.
Well, he works it like he did in that with the Raptors, but do you address that with the team? Do you have to?
No, I don't have to address that. No. Mm-mm. They all, those young guys today see it before everybody else does, and they can read and all that. So it's I won't address that.
Matt, in your conversation with Ryan Poles, just like over the last couple of months, have you expressed how important that position, that weak side linebacker position, is the off-ball position to what you do defensively? Leonard obviously in Indianapolis, and having Roquan here, is that something that you have to express to the front office? Like, I really need this guy to make my defense go.
I mean, it's documented in the defense that's the position, right? One of the positions that the three technique, outside pass rushers, nickel, those guys are all very important to us, and that will position is a cog to that.
Is there any concerns about the morale of the team, him being, very well respected leader on this team? Is there any concern about morale with the other guys kind of here?
Well, day one, I would say this: we said a couple things, and it was laid out for the players. That number one, be on time, and that's the thing. And then the next thing is to be respectful, and that's everybody. That's everybody in the building. That's coach to player, player to coach, and and then the last thing was work hard, and we're going to stick to that the entire time we're here, and. Everybody's been respectful.
Boy, that answer was not an answer in the slightest, wasn't it?
In our relationships with player to coach, coach player. So.
Thank you.
Okay.
That was Coach Flus with the no answer right there, boy. He basically didn't even answer that question in the slightest. I mean, listen, we know how important Roquan is to this offense, or this defense, I should say. We know how important Roquan is to what the Bears want to do this season. I would assume that they don't want to start this season without Roquan Smith on the field. It's going to come down to how quickly you're going to be able to get a deal done. Here's the thing, right? Is this relationship salvageable? Is this relationship salvageable? Do you feel like the Chicago Bears can salvage this? Do you feel like this is just a tactic to try and get the Bears to basically acquiesce to his whim? Do you feel like this is a move to try and get the Bears to sign the deal for him that's a little bit closer to what he wants, right? Ryan Poles feels like this contract was a good one. Ryan Poles feels like the contract that he put out was a respectful contract, was one that honored what Roquan was looking for, gave him the money, and all of a sudden, right, like, you feel like Roquan feels like it was disrespectful, and so he wants a trade. I don't know. Again, the numbers have not been put out there, so I can't make an opinion on whether the deal was disrespectful or not. But I do feel like, right, when you're talking about a guy like Roquan Smith, you're talking about one of the top linebackers in the game. You don't want to let that go. And I'll say this, right? At least Flus, in my opinion, kind of seems like he feels like a deal could still get done, right? He talked about it. He's like, at this point, we still expect Roquan Smith to be a Chicago Bear. Now, right, like, there's a lot of tough things that go into Roquan's deal or Roquan's trade deal getting done, right? One, you have to be able to trade him to a team that wants to sign him to an extension. Two, you have to not only be able to trade him to a team that wants to sign him to an extension, but also get good value back for your team. And three, Roquan then has to negotiate his extension with the new team because Roquan is dealing with himself as his own agent here. Going back out to the podium here real quick. Let's keep it moving. Is it muted? Oh, my bad. Hold up.
It's just next man up,
What's that? So many questions for you. But I mean, what's it like when you're seeing so many of your teammates going down throughout practice? What's that effect on the rest of the wide receiver room?
It's just next man up, It's football. Injuries happen. You hate to see your fellow teammates go down, but in the middle of practice, the next person has to step up and fill the shoes up wherever we're missing guys at. So, you hate to see it. It happens every year, but, yeah, people got to step up.
What's your evaluation of where the offense is at now in the preseason game on Saturday?
I think we're making big strides throughout camp. OTA's helped a lot for us to get the offense in, and now we're in camp with pads on. And I think these last few practices, we made big strides as a whole offense, 11 players on the field, working as one. So I think we'll be ready for the first game.
You talked to Roquan Smith today?
I have not, no.
What was your reaction to that news that one of the key players on the team is asking to be traded?
That's not my business. I'm going to stay out of that. So I'm going to handle that.
But you didn't, react when you saw it?
I haven't heard of it. This is my first time hearing it. Yeah.
How would you describe your chemistry with Justin?
I think it's good. I just got here not too long ago, but I think it's moving along pretty well. And he's picking up the offense really well for a young quarterback, more than most. So I'm excited to see where it goes with us as an offense.
But before he got hurt, how did you see him sort of fitting into this offense?
For a short time that he's been here, he wasn't here in OTAs. He came here during camp, so he picked up the offense really fast. He's a smart kid, and he was doing well. Hate to see what happened. Hopefully, we get good news, and we'll see what happens.
Tajay Sharp's a guy that was had some production earlier this career and then kind of failed off. What does he bring to your team that nobody else does?
He's one of the older guys in the room. He was in Tennessee with the same offense with Matt. So he knows the offense a little bit already. So, he brings a little bit of experience to the team, to the wideout room that, we have a lot of young guys. So he helps out with the experience part of it.
So far, it looks like you guys have had a lot of success in the low red zone, but getting to the low red zone has been more of a struggle. From your perspective, why the difference in success in those two parts of the field?
I wouldn't say we're lacking success getting there. I think practice is tailored sometimes for defense, sometimes for offense. But I think we're making strides as an offense, and I wouldn't say we're struggling in any parts right now. I think we're making progress.
What's Justin like in this 2-minute situation?
It's good to have a quarterback like him. He's very calm under pressure, I can tell, you know, very precise, and he's very focused, dialed in on what we have to do on the situation at hand. You know, if he needs to scramble and throw the ball, scramble, run it, you know, he makes the right decision every time.
How have you and Justin been able to build a connection in such a short amount of time?
I think this comes with, you know, getting a lot of reps in at practice during OTAs in camp. You know, whether it's routes in the area or one-on-one, 7-on-7, or team reps. You know, you gotta put in the work. That's the only way you can build chemistry with a quarterback. Thank you.
Zequadamius St. Brown kind of giving a little insight into the wide receiver position and what's going on. I think we basically just jumping right back into this month. They letting them fly today. So here we go.
Probably been in the league a long time. You've seen a lot of different contract negotiations and players and things like that. When you heard the news today about Roquan's trade request, what was your initial reaction?
Roquan's a great dude. You know, I haven't known him very long. It's business. Business is tough in here. You got to kind of keep your feelings out of it. You know, I wish him the best. Obviously, that you know, there's two sides to the negotiation part. He's a really good player, and I hope he makes a lot of money.
How much of a concern is that for the team when it's one of the best players on the roster?
Yeah, I mean, he's one of the best players in the NFL. I've played against him, how many years now, and just what he brings, the leader type of guy he is in the locker room. We want him here.
Right. What was the way that teams viewed Roquan? I mean, obviously the big play against you guys last year, and then when you're on other teams facing him, just remember like the week leading up, like the way your coaches kind of described 58.
Yeah, he can do it all, right? And drop back, he can blitz, he can, he's always making tackles. The Bears defense is the Bears defense, and it's been like that way for a long time. And he was just another one of the rock solid players in the middle.
How difficult is it, or would it be for you? I guess we should put that on you for a second to negotiate your own contract.
I'm not a smart person, so I'm not even going to jump into that realm. I stay in my lane,
So it's like not many guys do that, right? So how would it, is it something that that's why there's agents, I guess? That's why you have guys, pay guys to get the best deal with it.
Yeah, I mean, I've known a lot of guys that have done their own contracts. More power to them. I have an agent. I have a great agent, Neil Cornrich, and but some guys take that on, and some guys can handle it. I pay my agent, and I've been really happy that route.
Is your focus at this point predominantly on right tackle?
Yeah. The first day I was out left, and then they moved me to right, and I got experience on both sides. I played 2 years on the right, played a bunch of years on the left. I'm just here to help the team win.
Do you feel like right tackle is going to be your home now? It's going to be your spot?
Yeah, wherever they ask me to play, I'm going to play. I mean, I can play guard, I can play tackle. I can't play center. Never tried anyways. Where they need me, in whatever role, I'll be ready for it.
Can you speak to the work that Brandon Jones has done in camp so far to kind of, lock up what's work?
Yeah, no, Braxton, he's super talented individual. He's experiencing some good edge rushers with it, Robert and those guys. And as a rookie, it's hard, man. But it's good to take those lumps now. But he's holding his own. The ceiling's super high with that kid. Long, can move, smart. It's just seeing some mental things, seeing a lot of reps, seeing what's coming, and he'll be all right.
Riley, how would you assess the offensive line as a whole and how you guys are coming together?
Yeah, well, it never seems like we have days in the in the summer. I was in the summer or the spring, or in the fall here, training camp. It's just you can never get enough together. During the season, you're going to have guys go down, getting reps with other guys. And we just got to keep stacking days and keep improving. It's not just stacking the days, it's, getting better every day. I think we're starting to get there, just from a standpoint of going out there, getting up to the line, making our calls, communicating, and then just, the technique's going to come, the steps are going to come, the hands are going to come. But the main thing is just getting to the line and, getting the communication down, getting set, and seeing stuff.
Riley, you said when you first got here, it was left tackle and they moved you. When they came in and said, you know what, we're going to put you on the right, it was just like, all right, you said you didn't mind?
Yeah.
How important will the reps be on Saturday? Because the coach was kind of like, you got to tee it up and let it fly when you're going into the first preseason game of the season. How important are those reps for a unit like the offensive line?
They're crucial. We see a great defensive line every day, big, strong, but it's good to go against another. Obviously our defensive lineman isn't getting close to the quarterback, stuff like that. And we got to have a sense of urgency to, finish a half second longer, make the correct calls, see the right stuff. And no, it's important.
What did you see from Tevin, just kind of what he went through with the first week, and then what did you see from him as you kind of finally get to see him play a little bit and some of his what he brings?
He's talented. He's tough, smart. He can move. And, this guy's for him too. It's, I think as a young guy, just getting those reps, you got to get the reps. And that's another case. I mean, I know he was here last year. I don't know these guys super well. I mean, I've only been here 2 weeks, but he's going to be a heck of a ball player.
It seems like at times there's gaping holes in the running game, but is it hard to tell, really how much you guys are doing because it's practice?
Yeah, it's practice. There has been some good stuff done by the offensive line and the running backs and wide receivers. It takes everybody, right? Quarterback to put us in the right play. The defense is doing a good job too, but that can be, misconstrued a little bit, whether there's a holding on the play or, stuff that doesn't necessarily get called in practice that, you got to go look at film to see the small details.
Anything else? Thanks, guys.
All right, thank you.
Of course, that was Riley Reef of the Chicago Bears. That's pretty much all the pressers they did today. Excuse me. A lot of question marks out there, right? A lot of question marks on these guys. Appreciate you guys tuning in. Hit that like button, subscribe to the page. We do talk Chicago sports daily on this channel. It's the only channel talking Chicago Bears, how Chicago talks. So make sure you get in tune with us, man. Shout out to Jesse. Said you're killing it today, Pat. Respect. Let me know how you guys feel in the comments. Do you think that this relationship with Roquan Smith is salvageable based on what we heard from Ryan Poles, Coach Flus, and some of the other guys around here? Right now, here's the thing. We did hear that Roquan Smith was at training camp. That he was at Family Fest today. And he seemed to be moving around, smiling, laughing like nothing had happened. A lot of people have speculated that is kind of how we know that this is a tactic to get the deal signed. It does seem like Roquan, at a minimum, right, based on what we've heard, that he wants to be a Chicago Bear. Based on what we read anyway, that he wants to be a Chicago Bear. He doesn't want to go to a different organization. And it seems, based on what we've heard from Ryan Poles, that he wants him to be a Chicago Bear. But there's somewhere in the middle. Again, we don't know the numbers that these guys have put out, but there's somewhere in the middle that they're not meeting at. And Roquan doesn't like that. It's been a very like take it or leave it type deal, right? Like he's basically said that Ryan Poles has put the deal on the table. It's take it or leave it, and that's it. You know what I'm saying? So I think that it sucks that we've gotten here, and even Ryan Poles said it sucks that we've gotten here, because you would like. Here's the thing, I get the dilemma from Poles to where can you guarantee that Roquan's going to be able to play the same way in this new system, but he's one of the few pieces you got. At a minimum, if you sign him to a deal, and I'm not saying 25+ million, right? I don't look at Roquan Smith and say I want to break the bank for Roquan Smith, but let's pay him what he deserves, right? He deserves to be allowed to set the market for the Chicago Bears and for the linebacker position. He deserves to be a $20 to $22 million player this season. Drop a pay the man in the chat if you agree with me. Bear Don, drop a pay the man in the chat if you agree with me. Here's the thing. I don't think that this is a deal that's not salvageable. I don't think that this is a relationship that's not salvageable. I think this is a tactic by Roquan Smith to try and get a little bit of ploy or get the organization to kind of look his way. But here's the other thing that I don't want, right? We saw in Roquan's letter that he said, hey, I hope that I don't know if we'll be able to salvage this, but I want to, I haven't talked to the McCaskies yet. Here's my dilemma. If you're going to go to the McCaskies, I don't want the McCaskies then going to Ryan Poles and saying, pay him. You brought this guy in here to do a job. You didn't let the last guy do his job, so he felt like he had to go behind everybody's back to do it. That got you screwed up. You also didn't put him in a position to be successful. You didn't let the last guy do his job. How about you let somebody do their job? And yeah, sometimes they're going to make decisions that we don't agree with. I don't agree with not paying Roquan Smith. I don't agree with not paying Roquan at all. You got to pay Roquan. I think he's that level of player. I wouldn't go 25 mil, but I think he's that level of player. But what I will say is that I also don't want my owner of the team interfering with what he's trying to do, especially our owners of the team, because we know they're not football guys. Remember, Ryan and Matt are our football guys. I don't know. I just I am a fan of the team. I like. Why would I want George McCaskey coming in there to talk about Roquan Smith's deal getting done? Baki in the chat. Let's get to some of you guys' comments, man. Appreciate you guys for tuning in and rocking with us. Baki says you got to pay Roquan, but I'm not paying him 22. I'm not paying him 22, 23, or 25 million. For him, 20 million, no problem. I would go up to 22, right? I would go up to 22 because the thing is, right, you're also paying him for the future. You're also paying him for what he's going to provide to the team. You're also paying him for where the market could go. You've got to find that minimum, right? It does seem like, based on what we've heard, at least from Roquan Smith, that they're not even above 19 yet. It does say, it does seem like, right, like they're not even above 19 yet. They're not even putting him above Fred Warner. They're not putting him above, hopefully they're putting him above CJ Mosley, right? But like there's a lot of guys that are already probably that you can argue are the best in the league. And you're not willing to pay Roquan like he's one of the best in the league. That's how it sounds to me. Again, we don't know the numbers. I can't say whether the deal on the table is fair or not. Both sides do think, or Poles, I should say, thinks it's fair. Roquan thinks it's unfair. But this is a player that you want to keep in the building to me. This is a player you want to keep in the building. And so is that relationship salvageable? That is the question on the video, man. Let me know how you guys feel in the chat. Let me know how you guys are feeling in the comments below. The other thing you got to talk about when you're looking at this whole Roquan situation, right, is if it's not salvageable, what do you do? If it's not salvageable, where do you go? Because here's the thing. Roquan's going to have a tough time making this thing work with him. I said it earlier in the video. He's got he has to find a team, or the Bears have to find a team that they want to trade him to that's going to send us back good enough either draft capital and or players or compensation, whatever it is. And on top of that, I have to convince them to not only trade for you, but want to sign a deal with you. And then you have to negotiate your own deal. Roquan's got a lot of obstacles in his way if he wants to leave Chicago. Roquan's got a lot of obstacles that are in his way if he wants to leave Chicago. And if he does, listen, fine. I get you, right? You want to be traded this season? That's fine, but the Bears have him under contract till March. So Ryan Poles is in. He doesn't have to rush to do anything. They put him on PUP to try and get this thing done without having him be fined on some olive branch type stuff. But it seems like the olive branch isn't good enough. And it just really depends on, what you value for me. It seems like in the NFL, I will say this, it seems like the linebacker position is getting a little bit closer to how I view the running back position. I don't know if I agree with that. I think listen, I got 36 inches of bear head back here. We come from a team of dominant linebackers that you pay, right? You pay Brian Urlacher. You pay Lance Briggs. You pay, what I mean? So like, we come from a team of very dominant linebackers that you pay. So I have a tough time saying, oh, don't go out there and pay Roquan Smith. But it seems like the NFL is absolutely taking that stance. I mean, you look at the best linebackers around the league, and their contracts aren't, oh my God, contracts. You know what I mean? So like, there's that to factor in as well. And Ryan Poles said it. He's going to do what's best for the Chicago Bears. So that's kind of, you know what I mean? That's kind of where you look at it, where what is best for the Chicago Bears? If you move on from him, what is best from the Chicago Bears? Do you send him where? Atlanta? Jayville? Seattle? That's the question. What are you getting for a guy like a Roquan Smith? What kind of value are you getting? I think you could manage a first round pick out of it. Maybe a first and a fourth. I don't think you're going to get, like, I saw some people saying 2 first round picks. You're not getting 2 first round picks for Roquan Smith. I don't care how great a linebacker he is. We see where the NFL values that position. Now, who just dropped that comment? This is a good comment here. I did notice this. CG talking about, did you hear Poles say record setting? So that's something I did notice that as well. What would that mean? Does that mean record setting for the linebacker position? Is that Ryan Poles telling you, no, we were paying him above $20 million per year? Is that Ryan Poles telling you that, no, these things were in there? Is that Ryan Poles telling you that, no, we did offer Roquan Smith a very respectable deal, and he feels disrespected on it because he wants more? Again, I don't know the numbers. I can't judge the contract one way or another, but it seems like we're getting 2 sides of a very different story. It seems like we're getting 2 very different sides of a very different story. At a minimum, though, I will say this, no matter what, the de-escalations in the contract is disrespectful. No matter what you say, whether Poles does offer him a record-setting deal that would make him the highest paid linebacker in the NFL, the de-escalations in the contract is disrespectful no matter what, because this is a guy that's giving you everything he's got. This is a guy that's played extreme, not at a star level, at a superstar level talent. I had people all day, right, sending me linebackers that the Bears should have gotten instead of Roquan Smith. Guess what? Go look at how every one of those linebackers that you think should have been sent over here instead of Roquan Smith matches up with Roquan Smith. The de-escalations in the contract is very disrespectful to me, no matter what. I don't care if he's been to 2 Pro Bowls. Or he hasn't been to 2 Pro Bowls. He's never been selected as a pro. Who cares? Can you see on the field that he's one of the best players in the NFL? Half these mugs that get selected to the Pro Bowl don't go anyway. Like, what are we talking about Pro Bowls for? He's an all-pro linebacker. That's a fact. He's one of the best players on your team. That's a fact. He's one of the best linebackers in the NFL. That's a fact. The de-escalations is disrespectful to me. I don't know what the deal was. I don't know how the deal plays out. But the de-escalations are disrespectful to me, no matter what. If he was going to pay him 20, 22, 25, why are you trying to take money out of his pocket? MO, is he top 5 in his position? Hey, listen, first off, he's going to be moving to a new position, essentially, right? He'll be moving to a different linebacker position, but he'll be on that will side. But what you also have to, I mean, look at the best linebackers in the NFL. And then match him up with Roquan Smith. Also, look at the defenses that they're on. And look at the defenses that Roquan's been a part of outside of that rookie year. So, like, it's tough for me to say don't go and pay Roquan. And I think he absolutely needs to be paid by the Chicago Bears. But I also don't know what Roquan is viewing as the payment being too low. Jabari says he played Mike in college in a 4-3 defense. It's just, I agree. I understand that he's played in it before and it'd be similar, but it's a different level at the NFL level. It's a different level at the NFL level. It just is. Yeah, I mean, you just want to see him be better. You want to see what he looks like in that defense. I think that's one of the reasons why, right? Maybe Poles hasn't gone all the way in, even if we can say that. Like, I don't know anymore. He said record-setting deal. But the question on the video, can this relationship be salvaged? Was this a tactic? Was this just a tactic by Roquan Smith? Is it a tactic that will get him what he wants? Is it a tactic that puts the Bears in a bad position? Those are all questions that you got to ask yourself when you're talking about re-signing them. And I don't feel bad at all that Ryan Poles chose offense for some offseason money over defense. I don't feel bad at all. We didn't see this until all of a sudden Riley Reif and Michael Schofield show up, and now it's, I'm holding in. Sean Bell says, yes, it can. Debo Samuel use the same tactic. That's also something to look at as well, right? We've seen a couple of guys that that did this, right? But it was just earlier in the year, and so the deal got done quicker. It's just earlier in the year, and so the deal got done before training camp started. This could be a situation like that, right? Where Roquan misses preseason, but then all of a sudden, by the end of it, he's right there with the Bears. He's got a deal done. That's definitely something you could look at, man. Hey, hit that like button if you guys are in here, man. Hit that like button. Let me get a bear down in the chat from everybody in here. Here's the one thing I want all Bears fans to remember that are in here, right? We've been Bears fans for as long as this organization has been a dumpster fire. We are going to be Bears fans for the rest of our lives, unfortunately, and hopefully we'll be moving in the right direction very soon. Let's look at some of you guys' comments, man. Shout out to you guys for showing love. Let me get them bear dons in the chat. James says, Ryan is wrong. That contract is BS. What I mean, we don't know the contract. That's what I want Bears fans to remember. We don't know the contract. Roquan Smith feels disrespected. Ryan Pace says it's record-setting. Who's telling the truth? Because a record-setting deal for me, I mean, granted, right? Like, I guess if he adds $1 on, it's record-setting. If he adds on one more dollar, it's record-setting. Might be just a great way to phrase it, right? But like Steve-O said, somebody's lying. Somebody's lying. Or somebody's overly or under sensitive. So I don't know where this situation ends up. For me, here's the bottom line. I don't think Roquan finds himself in a better position than with the Chicago Bears. Do y'all? Let me know in the comments. I don't think Roquan finds himself in a better position than with the Chicago Bears. I'm not saying that Roquan should just acquiesce to whatever the Bears say if they're lowballing them or if they're right. The de-escalators to me is disrespectful. But what team are you going to get traded to that's going to want to pay you? That's going to be a good team that the Bears are going to get good draft capital for. The Bears aren't looking to go trade you to they're probably not going to want to trade you to a contender that all of a sudden, right, you're on this great team and you go over there and show out. One, because they don't want they don't want Chicagoland to see that. And two, why would I want a late first round pick when I can trade you to a terrible team and get a high first round pick? You know where I'm sending you? Hey, Jacksonville, what's good? Atlanta, what's going on? You want your boy back? Honestly, I'm not going to send you to a good team. Ryan Poles probably isn't sending you to a dominant team unless all of a sudden, right, they're offering multiple first round picks. That's the only way I could see it. That's the only way I could see it. If they're offering multiple first round picks, then you're talking about possibly moving them to a contending team. But I don't see a team out there that's contending that's going to just say, yeah, we're going to give up multiple first round picks to get a linebacker. It doesn't make logical sense. It just doesn't make logical sense. I love the Roquan for Pitts in the comments. Like, I don't think that's an even trade, even though I do think Kyle Pitts is a pretty good player, but I'd be interested to see how that works out. Hold up. We got 179 people in here and only 39 likes on the video. Hit that like button, man. This is the only channel talking Chicago Bears, how Chicago talks, man. Frank Brown says Poles. Hold up. Let me go back up. Poles looks bad in this situation, especially with Roquan being at camp today and Poles walking out of the presser after 2 questions. Well, listen, here's the thing. Ryan Poles didn't have to talk. Poles doesn't look bad for even holding a presser. Ryan Poles didn't have to talk. Appreciate you, Richard. Appreciate you, Baki. Somebody else said that. Appreciate you, Leap. Shout out to you, man. Ryan Poles didn't have to talk to that. He came out and he chose to speak to the media about the situation and get ahead of it. He's not hiding from it. What do we use that? We used to hear from Ryan Pace once a year. We used to hear from Ryan Pace once a year. Hey, Pace, what's going on? Why'd you trade another pick for a special teams player that we're not going to keep? Oh well, I'll see you in the offseason. What does that mean? So I respect him for even coming out there and getting ahead of this. Look, he looks like he's been trying to work this deal out. I'll say this. He looks exhausted for sure. Baki asks, here's the question. What other team is going to pay Roquan a record-setting deal if we were to trade him? Well, I think that's what makes it even tougher for Roquan. I think there are teams out there that would pay Roquan a record-setting deal. I think that Shay was good with you. I think that the Bears, apparently, according to Ryan Poles, want to pay Roquan to set the market. I think Roquan deserves to set the market. But the thing is, again, the three things he has to find. He has to find a team that wants to trade for him, which I'm sure that exists. He has to find a team that has enough capital to send back for a player of his caliber, which I'm sure that exists. And then they have to be both of those at the same time and want to extend him. You've got to pull off three things at once. That's where it gets tough. That's why I asked the question on the Bears or on on Roquan Smith, right? Like, and by the way, Roquan's got to negotiate all of that. There is no agent in play. That's why, right, I think that's why we're here with this issue with the de-escalators, right? If there's an agent in play, Roquan probably never finds out about the de-escalators. He probably never because his agent's never going to send him that. He's going to say, nope, we're going back with this. We're not doing that. Take that out or we walk, right? An agent makes that completely different. Roquan's negotiating his own deal. He's talking face-to-face with Ryan Poles. Guess what? Why are these de-escalators in here? That's where you have to kind of be careful on putting things in place that that could offend the player. Guess what? Clearly Roquan's offended. I get it. Take the de-escalators out. If the deal is what Poll says and the de-escalators are the issue, take the de-escalators out. Mark, I wonder if Ro is asking for 26 M's. I don't think he would ask for something that high. I don't think, right? Like I don't think he would go that far to try and blow it out the water. But maybe, right? Because he talked about the linebacker position and how it would hurt the market. The market seems to not be there like it once was, guys. Teams aren't looking for these dominant linebackers like they were. They're looking for these dominant big boys up front more often. Dominant DBs. You try to draft these dominant linebackers now. You don't see a lot of teams pay big money to a lot of these linebackers. What is Fred Warner's $96 million? I think Fred Warner only makes what, $96 million? So it seems to me like I don't agree with it. Bear down. We're built off of linebackers and big boys up front. I don't agree with it. But it does seem to me like you're talking about a situation where the linebacker position is somewhat becoming like the running back position. And you know what? These Roquan Smith is one of the guys that seems like he's going to be like, nah, we're not doing that. Yeah, Mark said 5-year, $96 million for Fred. I know it's 19.7 over 5. Yeah. So like, shout out to Frank, shout out to Mark. And to me, Roquan's a $100 million player. He is. Because you know what's going to happen? Roquan's going to sign his deal. Fred's going to look, and he's going to be like, oh, this is what we doing? This is what we doing? It's time to re-up my deal. Like, that's how the market works. That's how you get the market moving in the right direction. But teams don't seem like they're going to pay that. Teams don't seem like they're putting that out. So it's tough to see. It sucks that we're in this position. I think the Bears, if I had to still go with my gut, right? I don't think there's a team out there that Roquan wants to go to. I don't think there's a team out there that will pay Roquan or that will trade capital and give Roquan the contract and basically, finish out this year of his deal all at once. That's a top tier team. And that's the big thing, right? Listen, you can trade Roquan all day. But where you want to go? You want to go to a team that's winning, or you want to stay on an abysmal team but has some money in your pocket? Shout out to P Kid in the chat. P Kid said, give me the money. P Kid was like, hey, let me get paid. And there's gonna be irritation, or there's gonna be people on both sides that disagree. There's some people that believe you pay Roquan $25 million a year. I'm not one of those. There's gonna be people on the other side that believe he shouldn't make 20. I'm not one of those either. You have to find your way in the middle. Steve-O, another Roquan ain't walking through that door, not this season. But that's not to say that you can't find that in the future. First off, Georgia's printing linebackers like it's greenbacks. Georgia's printing linebackers like they up at the U.S. Mint. TR, Montgomery's gone next year. You already know how I feel about that, brother. Come on now. Come on now. Never pay a linebacker or running back. Isn't that what Mac made, 24 M's? Yeah, that is what Mac made. But Mac plays, yes, he's an outside linebacker, but he's playing a different position. Mac's causing havoc on that line more than he is dropping back in coverage. Kevin says, Steve-O, we don't need another franchise QB. We believe in Fields, protect him. And I think that's where this all started. Never pay a line. Oh, is that what I said? My bad. I meant never pay a running back. Said you slip, Pat. Never pay a linebacker. No, I meant never pay a running back. Now I'll pay a linebacker. I'm all for paying linebackers. I think that's where this started, though. I do. I think this all started because the Bears were focusing on the offensive line and not paying the people that were here. Deals were getting done for guys outside the organization and not guys inside the organization. And you know what? I believe on both sides. I want Roquan to get his money, and guess what? I want Justin Fields to have the best opportunity to be alive. And that's what it comes down to, man. Hey, I appreciate you guys for tuning in and rocking with us for another episode of The Daily Show. This has been a special edition, basically. We've split it up a little ways. Got a ton of content on the page. So, hey, listen, if you're rocking with the channel, man, make sure you check out the rest of the content we've got out here. Hold up, where the like button? Where the likes at right now, man? 178, 67 likes. Let's get it up over 100 likes before we get up out of here, man. Hit that like button. Come on, 5 seconds. 5 seconds. If you ain't doing it in 5 seconds, I'm at 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I almost gave you the other one. Don't worry about it. Let's get it, man. Appreciate y'all for showing love. As always, man, it's your boy, Pat the Designer, back at it again. If you didn't hear the entire thing, this also will be posted as a podcast today. We'll be here all season talking Bears, man. Bear down. Y'all stay safe out there, Chicago. Peace.